Hi, it's Paul Anderson. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you some critical information that you can use right now to eliminate conflict in your business and personal life. Now, in my experience, there's 10 primary causes of conflict, but the one I'm going to share with you right now is by far the #1 cause. In fact, in my experience with thousands of people, this is the cause of 80% of conflict, and I'm going to explain it to you right now. It stems from what I call the personal perspective. And the personal perspective is the idea that different people can see the exact same event and come away with two completely different meanings. Let's take, for example, somebody who's a bank robber, and you say to them, well, why are you a bank robber? They say, I had to be because my wife and kids were starving. And you say to somebody who's built a multi-million-dollar corporation, why did you build a multi-million-dollar corporation? And they say, well, I had to because my wife and kids were starving. So it's the same event, it's just two different reasons for doing it. Now, there's a lot of components of what causes the personal perspective. The most important characteristic of the personal perspective for our discussion today is what we call values. And in fact, that one of the major causes of conflict is mismatched values. It's not that we disagree about what is important, it's that we disagree about what is most important. These values that we have are arranged in a hierarchy from least important to most important. Let me illustrate that to you. Let's say that you've got a young child. Now, I think most people watching this would agree that it's important to teach your children to tell the truth. But let's take that a little bit further and say that your child is home alone and a strange man comes to the door, knocks on the door and says, "Hi, honey, is your daddy home?" Well, is it important to tell the truth? For most people, that's not exactly clear because personal safety may be above telling the truth. For some people, it's always going to be on the top, and for some people, it's always going to be on the bottom. So it's the order of these values that is absolutely crucial to who we are and how we behave. Now, here's a concrete example of how conflict can occur in everyday life. Here's a list of values for restaurants, and these are listed in 1 to 10, not in any particular order. I'm just giving you the values so you can have a list of values. But let's put them in order for two different people. The first person, his name is James, and this is his order for these values. Now, it's the same list that we had previously, but now we've ordered them for James. And you can see at the top of his list is going to be the quality of the food. And so where's James going to want to go to eat? He's going to want to go to the fancy French restaurant. And now he's married or dating a woman named Susan. And this is the same list of values, except they're in a different order. And at the top of her values hierarchy, we have price. It's not that they've got different values. They have the same values. They're just in a different order. Now, when it's time to go out to eat, James is going to say to Susan, "Honey, where would you like to go for dinner?" And she's going to say, "Oh, I don't care. Any place is okay with me." And so he says, "Well, let's go to the fancy French restaurant." And she says, "Well, I don't want to go to the fancy French restaurant." And he's going to say, "Well, why not?" And she's going to say, "Well, because it costs too much." And then he's going to say, "Well, I thought you said any place was okay." And now they're going to start arguing about not where to go eat, but they're going to be arguing about whether any place is okay. And the fact that she said any place was okay and he disagrees with that. And so we've got conflict. Not because they've got different values for the restaurant, but because they're in a different order. This is where conflict comes from in the personal life, and it's where it comes from in your business life. When you're in an organization, you have the luxury of setting the values hierarchy for your organization and enforcing that and transmitting it down to the organization. In personal life, we need to discover each other's values and then bring them into alignment. The way we do this is by using several techniques that allow us to find a common higher value than the ones that are in conflict. When you join me for an upcoming webinar, I'm going to give you some easy-to-use frameworks and techniques that are going to help to melt away the conflict within your organization. Imagine what it's going to feel like once it's gone. I look forward to seeing you at an upcoming webinar.